go over the second to last week of the NFL. It's coming to a close here soon, sadly, but we're here to preview all of the games, starting with Thursday night. We have the Jets and Cleveland Browns. Jets are going to Cleveland after a win where they actually put up points. They got 30 points, and then they are 7.5-point underdogs in Cleveland facing off against the Browns. Who do you got? Do you think they cover the spread?
Well, I'm going to definitely take the Browns here. Revenge game for Joe Flacco in the dog pound against a Jets team that can't score. Even though they scored against the worst defense in football, which, give them credit there, Breece Hall. But we have the best team in the NFL, according to the Brickyard, taking on a Jets team that is demoralized. Give me the Browns here, and I do think they cover.
Yeah, give me the Browns here. And then for all the reasons you just said, Joe Flacco is going to remind them why they should have called him after Aaron Rodgers went down in week 1, and he should have been the starting quarterback, not Zach Wilson. There's not anyone who has any NFL or football sense that actually thinks that Zach Wilson is better than Joe Flacco. So give me the Browns in this game on a short week, and I'll also take them to cover the 7.5-point spread.
I'm in for it.
And then we have on Saturday night, there's no 4:00 games, but we do have Monday Night Football on Saturday night. So we will have Troy Aikman and Joe Buck covering the game where the Detroit Lions are going to Dallas as 6-point underdogs.
See, the only reason why I think it's that high is because we're facing off against the home Cowboys. Yeah. Home Cowboys could be a top 5 team according to the Brickyard. Away team, obviously, bottom 5 team. So I think that's why that spread's so high. But Lions and Cowboys, I'm going with my gut here. I'm going with kneecaps. I'm going with Sam Laporta. I'm going with Amon-Ra St. Brown. I'm going with Jahmyr Gibbs. And I'm going with Jared Goff, who I would take over Dak Prescott. This Lions team, I think they're trying to get hot at the right time so that they can go into the playoffs and make a run. Cowboys, you just got embarrassed by the Dolphins. Even though it's at home, I don't trust the Cowboys. Give me the Lions.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a feeling the Lions will win this game, but just to jinx it, every time I pick against the Lions, they end up winning the game. So I'll pick the Cowboys in this game because I want the Lions to win. And then if the Cowboys win, then it won't be as bad because I picked them. But I'll take the Lions to cover the spread. But I think the Dallas Cowboys average 40 points at home. They're clearly better with CeeDee Lamb and Tony Pollard on that turf that they have there. They open up the playbook a lot more. And I think just the Lions defense has had some problems. So I want to see how they match up against the Cowboys before I fully embrace them. But yeah, I'll take the Cowboys, hoping that the Lions win. And then if the Cowboys end up winning, then, well, I picked them to win. So it's not too bad. And then we have the 49ers coming off a devastating loss on Monday Night Football where Trent Williams and a few offensive linemen went down here versus the Baltimore Ravens. And people are starting to lose confidence that they are the undisputed favorite. But don't worry. You're going to Washington to take on the Commanders, and you're 13.5-point favorites on the road.
And they're going to cover as well because this Commanders defense is the worst in football. Coming off of a loss for Kyle Shanahan, we all know his record there. You just got embarrassed by the Ravens. It's like this team's going to get ahead early and they're going to absolutely roll them. I think the Commanders, maybe they score about 20 points, but I think the 49ers dropped about 40.
Yeah, I think the 49ers drop about 40. This is a revenge game, especially coming off a loss. The 49ers want to go out there and flex their muscles again. So I'll take the 49ers to win and cover as well for all of those reasons. And then we go to Arizona going to Philadelphia, and they are 11-point favorites on the road, which I think is a little bit too big, especially because the Philadelphia Eagles haven't been blowing out anyone as of late. And I think the Cardinals haven't been playing horrible football. So I'll take the Eagles to win, but give me the Cardinals to cover in this game.
Yeah, I think this is a prime game where you look at the Cardinals, you see them against a superior team. I think this is a game where you could definitely see Vegas definitely cover the spread there. So I'm going to take the Cardinals to also cover. I can't with good conscience pick the Cardinals to beat them, especially with where the Eagles should be. So yeah, give me the Eagles to win with the Cardinals to cover.
Yeah, so Eagles to win with Cardinals to cover. And then that brings us to the Atlanta Falcons. They're not at home this week, but they're going to Chicago, and they are currently 3-point underdogs versus the Bears. So Vegas pretty much thinks this is a toss-up game. What do you think of it?
Well, I know one thing. I know that the Bears are playing good defense right now. Montez Sweat has elevated his game since joining there. I know that Justin Fields is playing for his job, although he might be auditioning for the Falcons in this game, whether he knows it or not. And I know that the Falcons are so much worse on the road as they are at home. So I think with all those things considered, and plus the Falcons don't have this guy, number 85, Notre Dame tight end,
Cole Kmet.
Cole Kmet, and they don't have DJ Moore either. So give me stepdad Eberflus to get the win against the Falcons at home.
Yeah, I'll take Coach Stepdad here. And the Bears have actually been playing pretty good football as of late. They were able to tamper out the Lions, kind of make people doubt their Super Bowl hopes a little bit, even though it is a close division rivalry. So give me the Bears here. They've been playing better defense since they got Montez Sweat. And Coach Stepdad hasn't been the worst as of late. And then Justin Fields has been freeing up some storage space to compute some more information. So I'll take the Bears here at home, especially because the Falcons, I hate them on the road. And then the Bears will kind of enter into the wild card conversation. They're not out of it yet.
Yeah, they're still in the mix. Who would have thought? They looked like they were dead in the water. Tyson Badgett won a few games for him. Justin Fields came back, and now they're doing something. Good for them.
They are doing something. And then talk about a team that's doing something ever since they were out of the mix. The Carolina Panthers haven't been a winning team, but they haven't looked as bad as of late. And they're going to Jacksonville to take on the reeling Jacksonville Jaguars. Jaguars are favorited at 7 points, even though they only put up 13 points last week. What's your thoughts on this game, and who do you think comes out on top?
This is a very dangerous game for the Jaguars because this Panthers team is a team you should win against, but I just have a really weird feeling about this game that we're about to see some really terrible football on both sides. Panthers, they impressed me with how they moved the ball last week. So I'm actually going to call a super upset here and actually pick the Panthers to beat them. Dare I say it?
Yeah. Are you going to take the spread?
I'm going to take the Panthers to cover the spread. I think that they actually have a chance to win this game, believe it or not, just with how bad the Jags have looked. With Christian Kirk, where they missed desperately, and how banged up Trevor is, I think this is a prime upset game right here.
Yeah, this is a tough game. Like, I can't wrap my arms around the Panthers fully, but I get what you're saying, and I have the same feeling. I'm going to go with the Jacksonville Jaguars because I would hope you can win this game, especially with Trevor Lawrence. But if not, fully off the bandwagon forever and will never embrace Trevor Lawrence until he wins a Super Bowl. So if Trevor Lawrence loses this game, you are in the same realm of Josh Allen that I won't fully embrace you till you win a Super Bowl. So please don't let me down this game, Jacksonville Jaguars, or you are done forever.
You are done forever. The Brickyard curse could continue.
The Brickyard curse will continue. And then we have another cursed game here where we have the New England Patriots heading to Buffalo to take on the Bills, and they are currently 12-point underdogs.
12-point underdogs? Well, yeah. I know a man who will be a gambling man this week. I think that with how the Patriots defense has performed this last few weeks and the Bills, I know the Bills I think should win this game, but 12 points, I think that that's a bit of a trap for those investors here. I would take the Patriots to cover that spread. I think it's going to be closer than people think, but I do take the Bills to win this game.
Yeah, I don't. I take the Patriots to win this game. I have a good feeling about the Patriots. I have a little bit of the same feeling you have the Panthers and Jags. It's like with the Bills having the opportunity to beat Miami and have that showdown. We've had some of those opportunities that were supposed to be that massive showdown in the NFL this season and ended up being a massive letdown so far. So I think with this NFL season, expect the unexpected. As soon as everyone's talking about a team and their stock goes super high, that's when it's time to sell and get off of it. So as far as I'm concerned, New England Patriots should be the favorites in Buffalo to win this game. A 12-point spread is way too much there. And if you struggled that much with the Easton Stick in Buffalo, what are you going to do with Bailey Zappi when he zaps your playoff hopes and your hopes of winning the AFC East? So give me the Patriots in this game. I think they cover and have a great shot to win this game and upset the Buffalo Bills.
Wow. 2 bottom 5 teams, according to the Brickyard, with a potential win. They might not be on the bottom 5 teams next week if these outcomes occur.
Yeah, they might not be on the bottom 5 this week, but 2 teams that are on the top 5 this week are facing off, and we have the Miami Dolphins heading to Baltimore with the Ravens as 4-point favorites.
Yeah, in Baltimore with the MVP favorite, with that defense, with the weapons there. I have the Ravens here. I feel confident with the Ravens. I would bet it. You said +4.
Yeah.
I would take the Ravens to cover the 4. I think that they're going to have a good game plan as long as they can contain Tyreek Hill. With Kyle Hamilton potentially sidelined, that does hinder their chances, but I don't think it's enough for me to bet against them. I think the Ravens are the best team in football currently, and I would take them to beat the Dolphins. I don't want to say handedly because that might sound bad, but I think they take care. I think they control the game throughout.
Yeah, I think the Ravens have the potential to do that in maybe a playoff scenario, but you put so much time, effort, and energy focusing in on the San Francisco 49ers. I think this is a prime game for the Miami Dolphins to go into Baltimore and upset the Ravens and cover the spread there, especially with Kyle Hamilton's injury being a question mark there. You went to San Francisco, you beat the best team in football, and typically after one of those massive wins, we've seen some letdowns this season. So give me the Miami Dolphins to win, not because I don't think the Ravens aren't one of the best teams in football, but I think this is a prime time for the Dolphins to step into it, beat the Ravens, put themselves in the 1 seed, and then lock up the NFC East. And I think this is the game they've had circled on their calendars for a few months, where the Baltimore Ravens are probably more focused on destroying the 49ers with being the underdogs in that game than the Miami Dolphins are on beating the Baltimore Ravens in this game. So I think it means a lot more to the Dolphins than it does to the Ravens in this game, because there is a potential for the Bills to still beat Miami and the Ravens to be the number 1 seed.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I mean, what we've seen historically, whether it's the Cowboys after the Eagles, whether it's the 49ers after the Cowboys and all these other games, like it's definitely happened. I believe in the Ravens that they're one of those teams that can maybe not fall into that trap, but I think the logic is there.
Yeah, and then also last time they faced off was when the Ravens were up 3 scores and the Dolphins were able to come back. So I think without Kyle Hamilton, it's not a team that the Dolphins are scared of or think they can't beat. And then with the Chiefs, Tyreek Hill was always kind of able to have his way with Baltimore's defense.
That's true. Yeah, it's going to be a good game to watch. Is this a 4:00? Is this a primetime game?
It's at 1 o'clock.
Really? Come on. We have the Jets and Browns, but we have this game at 1 o'clock. That's a disservice to the fans.
Yeah, let's see what the Sunday night game is instead of this.
That's a joke.
Yeah, Sunday night is the Packers and Vikings. I'm sure everyone would rather see Packers and Vikings on Sunday Night Football than Dolphins and Ravens.
Everyone would much rather see Jordan Love and Nate Mullins. Okay.
And then after that, we have the Raiders heading to Indianapolis to face off against the Colts. Colts are currently 3-point favorites at home, hosting the Raiders after they come off their win in Kansas City. Raiders' second game of a back-to-back road week here. Who do you like, Indianapolis or Las Vegas?
See, I think that this is going to be a close game, and I wouldn't even touch the spread in this game because I feel like that's going to be exactly what it comes down to. It comes down to a field goal. I like what I've seen from the Raiders the last few weeks as far as defensive-wise, shutting down some big teams. However, I don't trust their offense. I mean, they didn't have a completion after the first quarter, so I don't trust their offense at all. Meanwhile, for the Colts, I don't know the status of Michael Pittman for this game, and I think that's going to be a big factor. I expect this to be a very low-scoring game. I think this could be like a 13-10 kind of game, but I will pick the Colts to win this one.
Yeah, I'll take the Colts to win this game as well. They have the not only playoffs in their sights, they have the division title in their sights with the Jaguars reeling here, especially if the Tennessee Titans or the Panthers do them a favor. So give me the Colts in this game, and I'll take them to cover the spread there at 3 points. Just can't fully wrap my arms around Aiden O'Connell going into Indianapolis's environment.
Yeah, no, me neither.
And then we have the Rams, who are on the road in East Rutherford, New Jersey, taking on the Giants, who are probably going to be starting Tyrod Taylor here. And they are 6-point favorites with wildcard hopes on the line here. Who do you like in this one?
I mean, without the gabagool, without Mama's cooking, I don't trust the Giants to do anything. We're going to see a lot more of the Daniel Jones level offense with Tyrod Taylor than Tommy DeVito. I like the Rams in this game to cover pretty handedly, and I think they score 30 points for the 6th consecutive week.
Yeah, give me the Rams here as well. I like them versus the Giants, and I'll also take them to cover the spread, especially without Danny DeVito. It's not too much else going for the Giants outside of Bobby Okereke. And we say it right on the show. Just look at Pat McAfee announcing him in the draft. You'll understand. And then we have the Saints and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers facing off potentially for the division title here. Saints coming off a blowout loss on Thursday Night Football. Buccaneers riding that high versus Jacksonville and against the Green Bay Packers here. They are 3-point favorites at home. Do you like Derek Carr nice or Derek Carr wreck?
Derek Carr wreck. Are you kidding me? This team, I mean, you look at the score of that Rams game. Sure, it said 30-22, but it was 30-7. I turned the game off. I went inside and I played Destroy All Humans, reprobed. The Bucks are in a much better place than the Saints right now. The Saints are a mess. Their salary cap issues for next week are a disaster. The Bucks, meanwhile, can clinch the division and be 9-7. Give me the Bucks all day in this game, and I beg that the Bucks win this game because I do not want to see the Saints anywhere near the playoffs. This team should be sniffing the bottom of the barrel of this NFL franchise because they need to adjust what they are right now. Meanwhile, the Bucks, they're the hottest team in football. Give me the Bucks.
Yeah, I'll take the Bucks here as well. And then, as you mentioned it, the Saints should only be sniffing the bottom of Vita Vea after he's had an enema. That's how much they deserve this season. So I'll take the Buccaneers as well. And then if they win this game, they get to rest some players heading into the playoffs. So then they lock up the division pretty much after this game. Atlanta is still technically in the mist, but I think the Bucks get it done.
I think so too.
And then we have the Tennessee Titans going to Houston, potentially with CJ Stroud returning in this game. Texans are 3.5-point favorites at home after the Texans had previously beat them on the road in Tennessee. I believe that game went to overtime.
It did go to overtime. Yep. And if we can, I'm banking on the fact that CJ Stroud should be playing. And if CJ Stroud's playing, then I like the Texans in this game. If not, this is where I would lead the Titans. But with just CJ Stroud and his ability to elevate the talent around him, I would take him to win. I'd be at a close game. I'd pick like a 19-16 game, but picking the Texans to win.
Yeah, I'll take the Titans to win this game. I think Tannehill played well enough last week, and then they went to overtime. Will Levis ended up going out in that game, but I think the Titans defensively will be able to do enough, especially in Houston, coming off a pretty demoralizing loss to the Cleveland Browns. I think Tennessee will be able to do enough, and then they're going to be playing upset ball for the last few weeks of the year for Houston and potentially for the Jacksonville Jaguars playoff hope. So give me the Titans as the dream crushers for the rest of the season.
Okay.
And then we have the Steelers to kick off our 4:00 games, taking on the Seattle Seahawks in Seattle. Seattle currently 3.5-point favorites. The real question is, are George Pickens and DK Metcalf going to get the targets they deserve?
The question is definitely no in that time. I'd like to think to see they both get 10 targets, but that's just not realistic in this level of offense. Although Mason Rudolph is playing as the starter in this game, so maybe Mason Rudolph will let it rip. But I have a feeling in this game that we're going to see the Steelers win. I just think, how much chaos is it going to be if the Seahawks lose this game? Then we're going to have it set up where there's all these different tiebreakers that go into that last week of the season. I know what the NFL wants. And I think they want Mike Tomlin to have that winning season for the 17th year in a row and for the Seahawks to lose this game, setting up a chaotic week 18.
Yeah. And then Steelers, I believe, play the Baltimore Ravens in week 18. And then if the Ravens lose to the Miami Dolphins, Steelers beat the Ravens last year in the last week of the season, which prevented them from winning the division, I believe, and overtaking the Cincinnati Bengals. So Steelers could also give the Browns an opportunity in the last week to win the division.
And have the 1 seed potentially.
Yeah.
That'd be crazy. I hope so.
But in this situation, I will take the Seahawks, especially at home. I want them to stay in that wild card spot. And I feel like with DK, they should just target him, get him the ball with Geno Smith. And I think they should be able to beat the Steelers. And then I'll take the Steelers to cover the spread, though, because I think it'll be a closer game than 3.5 points.
Yeah, I think so, too.
And then we have the marquee matchup of the 4:00 slate. We have the Cincinnati Bengals going to Kansas City to take on the Chiefs. And the Chiefs, even though they couldn't score more than 14 points last week, they are currently 7-point favorites.
Yeah, I don't like the spread there. I do think that in Arrowhead, coming off of a loss in the Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid era, I would take the Chiefs to win this game. I think it's going to be a lower scoring game. I think the Chiefs defense should be able to contain Jake Browning at least a little bit. I think it's going to be a low scoring game. That's why I don't like the 7.5 point spread. This seems to be like a 17-14 kind of game.
Yeah.
Tough defensive battle. And also the Bengals and Chiefs always come down to a field goal at the end of the day. So I think one way or another, it's going to come down to Harrison Butker or Evan McPherson. I'll take the Chiefs just because they're coming off of a loss and they are the Chiefs. I feel like I have to trust them a little bit. So I'll pick the Chiefs to win this one.
Yeah, I'll take the Bengals in this game because Chiefs coming off a loss would previously be good if you had Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce and Andy Reid of a few years ago, but this is not your father's Kansas City Chiefs team. And the Cincinnati Bengals, they struggled with the Steelers and they've struggled in division so far this year, but they've been the best matchup for the Kansas City Chiefs so far. And I think the Bengals defense still is very good to this point. Lou Anarumo does have his finger on the Kansas City Chiefs pulse at this point. So I think without Joe Burrow, the Chiefs are kind of not going to have the animosity. They're not going to get up the same way for their players calling it Burrowhead. We don't have Eli Apple saying crazy things. We don't have the mayor of Cincinnati acting up before this game. So I think all of those things lead to a Bengals victory. And then the Kansas City Chiefs offense just not being able to score the same way it has been able to the past few years. I don't think just because they lost a game that their remedy is going to be that they're going to win the next game, especially this Chiefs team this year.
I think they're definitely going to want to get up for the Bengals. This is a team that knocked them out of the playoffs and just been kind of the team that's had their number the last several years. So I think
that's been Joe Burrow though. So I think without Burrow on that team, maybe you don't take him as seriously.
I think they still are going to want to, just because that's still a team that has all that animosity with Cincinnati. I think that the Chiefs are going to want to get up for this game. I think they'll win this game. I don't think it's going to be a blowout game, but I think it's going to be a tough defensive game and Chiefs prevail.
Yeah, I'll take the Bengals to prevail here. I would go 27-21 in this game.
I like 2017.
Yeah. But I think 7 points is way too much, especially with the Bengals defense.
Yeah, I would definitely take the Bengals to cover in this one. I think it's going to come down to a field goal at the end of it.
And then after that, we have the Chargers and the Broncos. Broncos are 5-point favorites. Yay. I guess this is a game that's going to be played on Sunday that Scott Hansen is going to take a bathroom break and just fall asleep at the wheel at. And for some reason, this game is going to play more than the Bengals, Chiefs, and the Steelers, Seahawks, even though those two games have playoff implications. And this one is just going to be Scott fell asleep at the wheel.
Easton Stick and Russell Wilson, two teams that should be out of the playoffs. I don't know whether I should bank for the Chargers to beat the Broncos so that they're officially eliminated, or if I should bet for the Broncos to blow out the Chargers so that my Chargers fans could just rest easy because every game is a heart attack. I don't really care who wins this game, but I guess just for playoff seeding, I'll take the Chargers to beat the Broncos. Do I think they will? No, but if they lose, then the Broncos are basically already out of it, and they would have a losing season. So I am betting for the Chargers fans out there, for Mr. Devin Gennard, for Mr. Zach Vujanov, I will pick the Chargers.
Yeah, for this game, I'm going to use my last one of the year. I'm just going to go with tie because neither of these teams should win. And I think the Broncos should miss the playoffs. And I would love for them to have made the playoffs if they had won this game, but they inevitably tied. So I'm going to go with the tie because Chargers did give the Bills a little bit of a fight here with Easton Stick. We don't have Brandon Staley there. He's officially working at Starbucks or Taco Bell or somewhere else. Maybe he's a Walmart greeter at this point and he'll take a risk with some of his greeting here. Maybe he'll greet you 4 minutes to close instead of you not coming into Walmart and him turning you away. So he's out there taking risks at Walmart while the Chargers are out here with a new head coach. So I would lean Chargers, but I'll go with the tie.
Okay. I will accept the tie in this game because that is what America deserves.
Yeah. And then we have the Packers and Vikings on Sunday night. Jordan Love versus Nick Mullins. Both of these teams are fighting for their playoff lives at this point, trailing the Seattle Seahawks. One of these teams is going home. After this, they won't be able to make the playoffs. The Vikings are favored at 1.5 points at home, which I think is kind of interesting here. And then Jordan Love, last time he was on Sunday Night Football, made a name for himself by outdueling Patrick Mahomes.
I believe in a thing called love. So the Vikings, we lost TJ Hawkinson. We have Nate Mullins to rely on. He threw 4 interceptions this past week. Really, it's going to be Justin Jefferson or bust in this game. Jordan Addison got banged up last week too. I like the Packers to win this game and stay relevant in the playoff picture, and the Vikings fall out of it.
Yeah, I'll take the Vikings to win this game as well. Like what I saw from Aaron Jones last week. Nick Mullins had 4 turnovers in last week's game versus the Detroit Lions. Not in love with that. And then I think Jordan Love, Matt LaFleur usually step it up on Sunday Night Football. So let's see the Green Bay Packers go out there, stay in the wild card hunt, and then get a win on Sunday Night Football and then cover that 1.5 point spread.
I like it. Now, our last few games of the week.
That is the last game of the week because there's no Monday Night Football. It's Saturday Night Football.